Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. This is Protomario, and today we are reviewing Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising. If you had missed my review on the original, I would strongly suggest that you go watch it because I do indicate some different parts and things of that nature. However, I do also encourage you to stop watching if you are currently playing Advance Wars 1 and have not gotten to the end of it, because this has spoilers. So, continuing on, Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising is known in Japan as Game Boy Wars Advance 2. It is a turn-based tactics video game just like the original developed for Game Boy Advance. Intelligent Systems handled the development, and it was published by Nintendo in 2003. It is the second game in the Advance Wars sub-series of Nintendo Wars, preceded by Advance Wars and followed by Advance Wars Dual Strike. In Japan, the release of the original Advance Wars game was indefinitely postponed again by the September 11, 2001 attacks. Eventually, it was released in combination in 2004 with this game. The storyline of this game continues directly from the previous game. Advance Wars Black Hole has quickly recovered from their defeat in Cosmo Land and gathered the forces to invade Macro Land under the command of Sturm, the same commander who led the invasion in Cosmo Land. The Allied nations cooperate once again to drive the Black Hole forces out of the Macro Land once and for all. As with any other game in the series, this game has been well received, attaining an aggregate great scores of 89% by Media Critic and 89.96% on Game Rankings. Several game review sites have given it 9s and 10s out of 10s. The goal of the player in Black Hole Rising, common to all Nintendo War series, is to defeat all the enemies, sometimes by completing special objectives. In this one, those special objectives do differ from just capturing certain areas, capturing certain bases, and or capturing the capital and destroying or routing out all enemies. This differs greatly because sometimes there'll be pipe holes that you're going to need to destroy, missile bases that you're going to want to capture, and other special, very special, unique buildings indigenous to campaign mode only. Again, there are new things that have been added to this game. More or less, if you play Advance Wars and you really enjoy it, then you should pick this one up. Also, there is a new power-up system utilized by the COs. It is not just only one common power-up, like Andy's Hyper Repair, but another power-up that you can also save up for, which would maybe double that Hyper Repair to 5 instead of just 2, which would double it and add 1, but that's splitting hairs. The important thing is that this new power-up system has been added, and it's very, very good and cool to use your tactics here. As you can see in the beginning, if you jump right into campaign mode, you will no longer have to do 15 field training missions, but rather several campaign guided missions where Nell tells you to do certain things, and the missions are fairly simple. They teach you about capturing the HQ, defeating infantry, how to use long-range weapons, using CO powers, etc., etc., etc. In campaign mode, the Black Hole Rising differs from its predecessor in Advance Wars that the mission selection is not just linear now, but you can actually select several missions at a time. The campaign takes place over the game's 5 continents, and on each continent there is a focus on one of the game's 5 countries: Orange Star, Blue Moon, Green Earth, Yellow Comet, and of course the country of Black Hole. The player begins campaign in Orange Star, which is treated as the tutorial of the game once again. Since the Black Hole Rising has no field training tutorial mode, this is considered a tutorial. Each continent begins with several missions that the player can select from. Upon completion of different missions, new missions may become available and other missions may become unlocked. Once certain requirements are met, the final mission on the continent becomes available. When the final mission on the continent has been completed, that continent is considered completed for all the remaining missions pertaining to that continent are closed. Thus, not all missions are mandatory for campaign completion. So if you happen to hit a snag on a certain mission, you don't have to sit there and grind away at it until you finally get it. That's on you. When the normal campaign has been completed, a hard campaign mode similar to the previous game's advanced campaign can be unlocked. Hard campaign is similar to normal campaign, but with increasing difficulty due to modified maps or increasing starting enemy troops. And when I say this, it is very difficult. As you can see here, when you complete a campaign mission, you are rated on how you did. Warning, this is not perfect. As you can see, I did attack the enemy, and I didn't get any power points, right? So what happened there? Pretty much, if you don't destroy a single enemy, you get no power points. So a safe medium would be to hit 2 or 3 enemies before you capture the capital if you care about your ratings. Getting all S ranks across the board can unlock things as well, so it is very vested in your interest to get S ranks, and the higher the rank, the better. The point system that you saw added up, I have max points because I've had this game for quite some time, but these points are used to unlock other COs in the war room, battle maps, and other things of that nature, such as soundboards, maybe something else. But these points are used mainly for unlocking things. After the player completes campaign mode, the player's performance is judged in these 3 categories: the speed rank, the power rank, and the technique rank, as you saw before. C rank is the worst rank you possibly get, and S rank is the best. So if you think you've got an A rank, S rank is the best. Other modes include the War Room from Advanced Wars remaining unchanged in this game. In War Room, the player selects a CO to complete a map. That player must defeat all the opposing COs by either routing them out, capturing the headquarters in the War Room map. Unfortunately, in the War Room, you cannot create special things that are exclusively used for campaign mode, such as missile silos. Not missile silos individually, but giant missiles and other things in campaign mode that are very indigenous to it. I don't want to give away any of the campaign mode because it's very nice to see what you're going to have to do and how you're going to do it. In design mode, players can edit the CO color palette, provided the player has unlocked it, once again with the points, or create their own maps. This is a returning feature from the original Advanced Wars, and is great for making maps to play against your friends. Multiplayer also makes an aggressive return by allowing you to link up to 4 players, and once again, this is not available for wireless because this game came out prior to the wireless revolution. New features. Black Hole Rising is nearly identical to the previous game in terms of core gameplay. The only addition were the overall content of the game. 8 new COs joined in the original game's 11 to make a grand total of 19 COs. Many new maps were added for Versus Mode and War Room Mode, increasing the total map count to 140. Most of the new maps and COs are locked at the start of the game and must be purchased from battle maps after certain conditions have been met, such as completion of the content, completion of campaign, or completion of campaign on hard mode and or with S ranks. Additionally, the Neo Tank is an essentially upgraded medium tank and is one new unit that has been added. Aside from the Neo Tank, 2 new terrain features have been introduced: the missile silo and the pipeline. The missile silo can be fired from a foot soldier and does damage to all units in the blast radius. Pipelines essentially are walls that can be destroyed, but they cannot be traversed by a unit, even planes. Along with 2 new features, various new black hole properties have been introduced, and although they can be only found in campaign, such as the ones I was talking about, these properties directly affect the gameplay of the missions, and destroying or neutralizing these properties can usually become the new player's goal. So guys, to wrap up this review, the plot of the game pretty much goes into the Allied nations were recovering from the Cosmo Land attack. Black Hole Army has already recovered and launched a large-scale invasion on Macro Land. Lash has also invented several new weapons that they are going to put into use in this invasion. Along with the original Black Hole Army CO, 4 new COs are recruited under command of Sturm. Sturm, with an ominous new look, orders the Black Hole CO to invade and capture each one of the 4 countries owned by the 4 armies of the original game. Flak is assigned to Orange Star, Lash to Blue Moon, Adder to Yellow Comet, Hawk to Green Earth. The 4 armies must now work together to drive out Black Hole once and for all. So guys, final thoughts on this game here. The plot line is excellent. I really like it. If I were to go and buy a game, I would not pay too much for this one because Dual Strike is much better, and I personally like the original's plotline a little bit more. However, the addition of these COs in this one really make it a great game. What you're going to get is not a new complete experience, but rather an upgraded experience from the original. So if you really like the original, pick this one up, give it a try, and give it a whirl, because it can't be that much nowadays. I'm Protomario, and I'm signing out. Hey guys, I hope to see you playing Black Hole Rising Advance Wars 2 soon enough. I'm Protomario, and I'm signing out. Happy gaming, guys.